Hey guys, welcome to the 9th video in the Python for Everybody series. So in this one we're going to solve the exercises from chapter 10, which is about tuples. Okay, let's get started with the first one. Before we start, please remember to get again the files we've been using, the text files in the previous exercises, which are mbox short and mbox, and put them in the folder for chapter 10. I have already done so, so I'm going to start. Now we need to revise the program we wrote in the previous chapter. So I already have it here, and I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. So for this exercise, we need to read the lines from a text file and pull out the addresses from the line, count the number of messages from each person using a dictionary. So we have already done that, and we have in this email addresses dictionary all the name, email addresses, and the number of messages coming from that email address. Okay, but what we need to do next, we need to print the person with the most commits by creating a list of tuples from this dictionary. Okay, so we need to sort this list in reverse order and print out the person who has the most commits. Let's run this code first and see what this prints. Okay, I'm going to the terminal here. And then I'm running this with Python 3, size 1. And I'm using mbox short. So we get this dictionary, which is unordered, and we need to order this by the values. Okay, so that is what we're going to do using tuples, of course. Let's minimize this. So now we need to iterate over the elements, over the key values from the dictionary and put them in a tuple. How do we do that? Well, it's pretty easy. So for key, comma, value in email addresses, this is the way we can iterate through email addresses. Email addresses dot items. This method converts this dictionary into an iterable, into a list with key value pairs. And this is exactly what we want in this case. First, we can before we start iterating, we can also declare an empty list, which is going to be like this. And now in this list, we need to add the tuples of key values. But since we want to order them by the value, it's better if we construct the tuple with the value first and the key second. Okay, so in list we're going to append the value first, and so value first and the key next, and we are going to put this into a tuple. So what is this thing doing? This is just adding to the empty list a value key tuple. Let's just print it so you can see what this gives us. Okay, and here in the terminal, again for mbox short. Okay, so this is what it gives us. This is a list with tuples, and the value is first. So now if we sort this list, it will sort the tuples by the value, by the first element. So it will just sort them by this number of messages coming from this email address, which is exactly what we want. So before we print the list, we sort it, and we want to sort it into a reverse order. So the largest first, reverse equals true. Let's see what this does now. Box. Okay, so this is doing exactly what we want, and we want to print in the end only the person who has the most commits. So that would be the first element in our list. So we can just print this, and we should get this. Let's try this out. For mbox short, we get this one, and for mbox.text, we get this email, which is exactly what we should get. If you want, you can format this. So this is a tuple now, the person with the most commits, and the first element is the number and the second is the email address. So there's a way you can print this. Let's just call this person tuple equals list 0, and then we print person tuple 1 first and person tuple 0. Let's run this inbox.text. So we get this one in the same format as the exercise asks for. Okay, so this is it for this exercise. Let's move on to the second one. So in the second one, we need to count the distribution of the hour of the day for each of the messages. So to get the hour, we need to go to the from line and find the time string and then split the string into parts using the colon character. Since after we accumulate the counts for each hour, we print out the counts one per line, sorted by hour as shown below. Okay, so let's see how a from line looks here. So this is the part we are interested in. We need to get the hour. So what we can do first is split this line so we get all the words, and then we can access the hour and the hour and the minutes and the seconds, and then we can split it again to get only the hour. Let's try to write this. But before, we can copy again the code from this exercise, and we can modify it so we don't have to write everything from scratch. Okay, let's go here. So again, we're reading the file, we're opening it, and we're creating a dictionary, we're declaring an empty dictionary. And now we check the lines which start with from. And if let's comment this at the moment. After we perform a line split, let's see how this one looks. Print email. Okay, let's run this. For exercise 2, mbox short. Okay, sorry, I wrote the name of the file wrong. Okay, so we want to access the hour, which is if we start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is the sixth word in this line. So the element with index 5. So first, let's try to get here the time and try to get the element with index 5 and print it. Okay, let's run this again. Mbox short. Okay, so we get this. Now we need to split the string again and get only the hour. Okay, so to get the hour, let's try this, will be time dot split using the column character. And let's see what this gives us first. And box short. Okay, so now we need only the first element of this list. So here we can get the index 0, file name, and then and box short again. Okay, so this is exactly what we want. Okay, we get the hour now. We can change here the name of the dictionary so it better shows what we are doing. So I'm calling this hours of day, and it's an empty dictionary. So we're going to do the same what we did for email addresses. I'm just changing the name here of the dictionary, hours of day, and changing this code not for email but for hour. So what this is doing is going to the dictionary and trying to get the value for this hour. If there is no value, for example, when in the first iteration, when the dictionary is still empty, it will give us 0 as a default, and then it is going to increment that by 1. So whenever it finds a line where the hour is, for example, 16, it will, since the dictionary is empty, it will give us the value 0, and it will increment it by 1. So we count the number of lines where the time is 16, which is exactly what we want in this case. So let's try to remove this print here, and then we see what we have already done. Let's print this hours of day dictionary. Let's run this box short text, and we get this unordered dictionary. Okay, so what the exercise is asking for, just once we have accumulated the counts for each hour, print out the counts one per line sorted by hour. Okay, so how do we do this sorting? We have the hour as a string, and that is fine because if we get a tuple with a key value for each element in the dictionary, for each key value pair, we then can sort that list of tuples. And the way that the sorting in the tuple works is that for each tuple, for example, for each one, for this one and this one, it will start to compare them by the key first, by the first value in the tuple. And the string comparison, in this case, it will work the same as if these were integers. Okay, so what we need to do is, again, we need to create a list of tuples for each item in the dictionary. And how do we do that? We use again this code here, but with some modifications. We declare an empty list. Let's remove this print. And then now we need to append by key value. Okay. So we create this list and we append by key value, and then we sort this list, but not in the reverse order. So let's remove the comments here. So we just sort the list and try to print it. Print list. Let's see what this gives us. For mbox short text. What? Oh, okay. So the name of the dictionary is wrong here. Hours of day. Let's run this again. Okay, So it has already sorted the list by the hours. So this is exactly what we want. But now I'm reminded that we can write this even in a short, we don't need to iterate the dictionary, but we can use this, we can convert this hours of day dot items into a list directly. So let's try that first. So we can just do list and convert this into a list, hours of day dot items. So this gives us already a list of tuples, an iterable of tuples, which we can convert it into a list. So let's try to run this. Okay, so this is the same what we got before, but this is much shorter. So we don't need to iterate through the dictionary because we already get an iterable of items and we just convert it into a list, which we can then sort through. Okay, so let's remove this part. Okay, so we have a list of tuples now, and what the exercise is asking us to do is to iterate through this list and then print the hour and the number. Okay, so let's do that. After we have sorted the list, we can just do this for t in list, and then we can print t0 and t1. So the first element and the second element of the tuple for each tuple in the list. Let's run this again. Mbox short text, and this is exactly what we wanted from this exercise. Okay, so this is it for the second one. Let's go to the last exercise for this chapter. Okay, so we need to write a program that reads a file and prints the letters in decreasing order of frequency. We should convert all the input to lowercase and only count the letters A to Z. Your program should not count spaces, digits, punctuation. Okay, so we need to convert everything to lowercase and count only the letters from A to Z. To do that, let's first just declare a string of all the values we need. So I'm going to call this alphabet, and it will be just a string, or you can make it a list, but the string should work fine. And it will be just A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, S, T, U, V, X, W, Y, Z. Probably you can copy paste this from somewhere else, but let's, oh, okay, just make sure this is the right length. Alphabet, okay. Let's try to run this. Sorry. So Python 3, chapter exercise of 3. Okay. So 26. Okay, 26 letters, what we want. Let's copy some code from the previous exercise. So we need to read the file. So let's get this. We need to open. Okay. So let's remove this. We open a file which we get from the user, and now we need to read the file and just print the letters in decreasing order of frequency. Now, usually when we read the file, we just open it and iterate through the lines. But since we just need to count all the letters, maybe it would be easier to just read from it and then convert it into, so read it as an entire string, the whole file. That would be much easier. Let's try how we can do that. So I'm saving all the text into a string, so it will be fhand dot read. Let's see what this gives us, and print text. For mbox short dot text. Okay, so it gives us the entire string. Okay, and since we need to iterate through every line in the through every character, we can just write a for loop to go through every character in this text. Okay, so for text, let's see if this works fine. Okay, for mbox short.text, as you can see, it is printing every character one by one. Now we need to check if this one of these characters is in this alphabet list, because we need to ignore everything else. Oh, but first we need to make everything lowercase, okay? Because the exercise explicitly said convert everything to lowercase. So let's see. So we have some uppercases here. So let's try to put everything into lower and remove this print here. We don't need this. Now what we want to do is check if this character is in the alphabet. And only for characters in this alphabet we create this dictionary with a counter. So let's declare the dictionary first. Frequency dictionary. It will be an empty dictionary. Okay. Now we check if the character is in the alphabet, and then we will increase the counter. So if this is in the alphabet, we then check if we already have it in our frequency dictionary, and then increment it by one, the counter of this letter. Okay, so what we will do in this case, it will be frequency of dictionary for to get the frequency for this letter. We use the get function, which will give us we give it the character as a key, and then we get a 0 value if this key doesn't exist in the dictionary yet. So for example, in the first iteration when the dictionary is empty. And what we need to do next is to assign a value, a frequency for this character, and add it as a key value to the dictionary. So we will do frequency dict for this value character will be this one incremented by 1. Okay, so this is how we create the counter. Let's print this first and see what we got. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so we have the unordered dictionary, which is fine, exactly what we want so far. Now to order it, we will use tuples again. And like in the first exercise for this chapter, we are going to create the tuples with the value first, because we want to order them by the value. So let's copy this code and modify it accordingly. Okay. We're declaring an empty list where we will store all the tuples. And now we iterate through this frequency dictionary. We get a list of uniterable of items, and we get the key value. But we add the tuples in this order, with a value first and then the key, because when we order the list, we want to order by the frequency. Okay, to see the letters which are more frequent in the text. Okay, this is what the exercise wants us to do. We don't need this part. Okay, so we get the list here, and then we sort it with reverse true, because we want the letters with the highest frequency first. And let's print the list now. Let's see what this does. For mbox-short. Okay, so this is what exactly what we want in this case. And let's print it more nicely. So I'm going to print for so I'm going to iterate through the list. So for letter dash frequency in list. Sorry, the frequency is first. So letter, but when I print it, I want to print the letter first and the frequency. Okay, let's see what this does. For mbox-short.text. Okay, so we have the letter. So the letter E seems to appear more, and then the letter A. Okay, so this is the third and the last exercise for this chapter, guys. Again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like. Also hit the bell notification, so the bell icon in the subscribe button, because that's the only way you can get notified whenever I upload a new video, which I'm trying to do this every day. Don't forget to check out my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.